Are we filming front camera?
Yeah.
On the front camera, or
Yes.
Are we filming it in landscape, yeah?
No portrait, Cyrus. Come on, get with the program.
wait, we are doing landscape, right?
Yeah.
Hang on a sec.
Look. What's good, YouTube? We're the UK Shooters team.
And today we're going to be editing each other's photos in each other's respective styles. So I'm going to be editing Mike's St. Paul's photo, wherever that
And
is.
I'm going to be editing this shot in London by Cyrus.
And I'll be editing this shot in Scotland by Luke Moo.
And I'm going to be editing this shot of Keenan's in London, which actually has Cyrus in it.
So before we start, we have a couple of minutes to analyse each of their photos and see how we can replicate their styles.
I've got my notepad and pen here, I'm ready.
Come on.
No, analysing. You know?
So wait,
No, I guess not.
where would you say most of your specific M.Visuals blue style comes from?
From the tones.
Bruh, help me out here.
Luke, I have a question for you. Did you put this into Photoshop or is it all Lightroom?
I always put my photos into Photoshop.
Okay, so was it just like cleaning it up or did you do anything big in Photoshop? It doesn't look like you have.
I definitely didn't do anything big in that photo. No.
I think I'll try a Lightroom only edit for this one.
I think it was primarily Lightroom. If I did Photoshop, it was very, very minimal thing, but I don't think
Okay.
Edit in Lightroom, then Photoshop, and then back in Lightroom again.
Correct.
Oh, that's right. That's a good one. That is brilliant.
Well, that's enough of the questions. Without further ado, let's get this started. No more looking at the photos. Set timer for 10 minutes.
Let's
All right,
go.
let's do this.
I've got my notes. You got blues from tones, Lightroom, Photoshop, Lightroom, highlights down, and decreases temp. That's why. That's why timer starts now. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with a cheeky crop. 4x5 because it's for Instagram. I'm going to decrease that temp. Not too much, but a solid amount. Bring the highlights down. And the shadows up. That he probably decreases the blacks, actually thinking about Mike. Increases clarity, he definitely does that. I don't think he played with DAs much. See, now that I see it properly, there's actually quite a lot going on here. What I think he used was a graduated filter, that's what it's called, right? On the bottom left kind of side of the image, really decreased that exposure. Was a big fall off there. Because he doesn't like yellows. I know that he decreases the saturation a lot, but I could still see some kind of green in there. So I'm gonna keep it on like 20. I don't think he likes purple, so remove those completely. This is, I think, his most like valuable section. I think he really plays around with this. Okay, so that's the overall colors done, I think, in my terrible opinion. I think Mike plays around with clarity all the time, but I'm not entirely sure how he adds it specifically, because people add clarity or decrease clarity in very different ways. I know that he plays around with his skin tone to make it look more natural, because that's something Mike does. Obviously, if he has a lot of blues, he wants to make sure the skin tones are still natural. Okay, so I'm gonna add a bit of temperature. I'm gonna take it into Photoshop. I like to think the guy listens to me when I do my editing. Not saying that he needs to listen to me because he's got way better stuff, but I think he would remove that. I'm gonna remove some of the stuff from the floor because I know that he does that. He doesn't like an untidy floor. He likes removing like chewing gum and little dots. So I'm pretty sure he removed this big fat thing here. So I'm gonna try and be a bit cheeky and complete because I'm on a time restraint and just remove it with spot healing and see if it works. Not really. He could have removed it. That might have been one of the reasons why the gradual filter was there. He could have removed it like badly. Did he remove this? I don't think he did, but he might have done. Damn it, I should have checked. I think that's as close as I'm gonna get. I'm gonna decrease the highlights because I don't know if he did this specifically, but I think that's about right. And I've got a minute left. So you know what? Just on the floor because I know Mike is a clarity fiend. I'm gonna slightly increase it all again. We're done. Time is up. That's my final image. Oi, that is not. Oh no, he's way more blue, man. Oh no. No, he's way more blue. He also didn't remove the thing from the ground. That was a mistake on my part. I should have left it.
Okay, so 10 minutes on the clock. I've got it on my watch. Starting now. So I made on my notes. Shadows has some very bluish shadows. His highlights are kind of orangey. His reds are almost red. So first thing I'm gonna do is crop the image to 4:5. Adds quite a decent amount of contrast to his image as well. I kind of forgotten what the image looks like, to be honest. I know Cyrus adds fade, so he has like pretty high fade. Creates a little bit of a drop here. I'm gonna make the highlights pop a bit more because I know the raindrops, you can see the raindrops. I don't want to make it too crazy. Okay, so RGB, Cyrus gets a lot of his colors from here, so and I think sometimes, I remember him telling me he kind of fades it, push it down to the greens ever so slightly. In the past, he brings up the black point, not black point, like the lowest point on the shadows up slightly to make it a bit bluer. Mate, I think I'm getting close. What color was it? I think his buildings were slightly aqua. Slightly, I'll desaturate it and deluminance it. I know Cyrus uses clarity because clarity is great for cities. So I'm gonna bosh that up to like 15, but it feels like I saw a lot more raindrops. Dude, did you add raindrops? I think that is a Cyrusy blue. I think that's a Cyrusy blue. Let's add a bit of that in there. Add a vignette. I'm gonna add it by using a radial filter. Increase the feather and just decrease it ever so slightly. And then what I'm going to also do is add a slight graduated filter. Don't know if you did this, but I'm going to do it for effect. Right, next thing to do, edit in Adobe Photoshop. Cyrus gave me this Flern fog brush once. I need to pick the color of the sky. I know it's kind of harsher on the top. And then what I'm going to do is get this layer, go filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and add a very slight blur to it. Save that. Increase the sat. Bit more clarity. Okay, I think I'm done. Right, let's export this. Keenan. There we go. 10 minutes up. Oh, he's warmer. Oh. Oh no. Oh no.
So, this is the image I've got. Little cow from our road trip in Scotland. It's looking pretty dark right now. You know, exposure up. The highlights in Luke's one were pretty low, and the shadows are really high. Tone curve, right. He always just goes for the standard S curve. Right, so Luke's shadows are going to be hard to get because I feel like my shadows are always way darker than his. So I know he doesn't use much fade from, that was one of my notes. Not much fade, something like that.
He always just goes for the standard S curve.
That is not an S curve. Actually, I just realised I haven't cropped this. Let me do that. Oh, I didn't focus where his crop was. I mean, I'm assuming, I think that was his crop. Blues, I know he does blues. Oh, I think, yeah, probably got a little bit of that. Oh, that's nice. Okay. The blues are wrong, I can tell you that. They're too purple. These blues are more blue, so maybe I need to reduce some reds. Okay, I think it's about that. The greens, yeah, 100%. Greens are gone. That was yellows. Okay, well, greens go. Those. Bang, this is looking good. I'm gonna increase the shadows in this area, apart from obviously on the cow, because I want the cow to stand out, and Luke would definitely have wanted the cow to stand out. And then shadows here would have been, boom, a little bit of temperature drop in the sky and a lot of saturation drop. Not like that. There, like that. And I'm actually going to up the texture. Probably 30 is just too much on the horns. I think he would have brought up the shadows. Let's get that to fit on the cow itself, because in his one, the cow really stands out, as it should, as it is the main subject. Cool, that was fun. If I had more time, I'd probably go around, clean up any little bits, any little flicks of light that don't quite match. Luke's all about, if anything's distracting, get rid of it. And I know he would have gone through and found one blade of grass that was out of place, and he would have got rid of it.
Right, let's get to it. We've got Keenan's photo up here. Right off the bat, let's get the Instagram crop up. So Keenan's image was quite orange. The orange has popped quite nicely. So I'm moving down the hue of the orange just slightly so it has a more of an orange pop. Is there any fade? I don't know if there's any fade. Definitely a bit black. Let's get them down. Pop that vibrance. He's got to have it slightly warmer. Yeah, there we go. Vignetting needs to be like, this is so hard. What am I doing? Oh, there we go. That was a huge move. Horizontal transformation. I swear there was like orange coming out of the... Do you reckon he brushed that? Do you reckon? Alright, I'm gonna add a brush. That's horrible. What is that about? Get rid of that. This is too bright around here. I remember this being quite dark, so I'm gonna brush in to see if I can get a similar effect. Yep, that's better. Oh, I just want to check my phone and see that image. There was definitely orange other than there, and I don't know where he pulled it from. Yeah, there's got to be something there. Alright, so I'm brushing in some temperature, which is going to be orange because I changed the yellows to an orange. So when I put that in, it's moved the temperature up, obviously. That's not it. Oh, let's get some, oh, boss. Let's get some yellows in the split tone. How has he got that orange tint? Right. You've brushed the one bit. Okay, so you've brushed the inside to make it a V, and I've just brushed the whole thing to make it a... Yeah, that's really clever.
Okay guys, so the 10 minutes is now up. It's time for us to compare and talk about our edits. As you can see, we have our edits behind us on the Zoom call. So let's go, Luke. Let's talk about your edit of Mike's photo.
Okay, so without Mike's photo next to it, right here, it kind of looks like a Mike image. When we show you the before and after, it actually isn't quite perfect. I thought the blues were on point. I was really happy about it, and you'll see this. But the blues are just slightly more intense in Mike's. They're a bit brighter. The luminance seems to be more intense. It's almost like, I don't know, you might have added like the radial filter in there or something, which you didn't, okay. Assume that Mike could remove like almost everything. So then I went and removed much more than Mike actually removed. Well,
I think that's pretty good though. Right,
Yeah, you didn't realise you smashed that edit.
right, Cyrus, let's talk about your edit with Luke's photo.
All
How did you
right.
find it? And,
So I found it quite fun to edit. I feel like I was pretty close.
I think you're very
Yeah,
close. I
it's
think
close.
you're
Yeah.
super close.
I feel like my notes came in handy. I feel like I made some very good notes. I followed them to a T, and yeah, came up pretty well. Didn't quite get the blues right, and I added too much fade and too much blue into the shadows. Other than that, it's pretty much there. The oranges are slightly off. They're slightly more saturated than yours were. But yeah, like it was pretty fun. I feel like I got pretty close.
the only difference in it is the purples. I removed all purple from my images. Like I just don't like the color.
The one thing I noticed I didn't do is Luke definitely cleaned up the like black bit on the cow's tongue, which I didn't do. Look at the before and afters.
We'll zoom into that right now because
Look at the before and afters, and you'll see the ridiculous detail Luke goes into. He definitely adjusted the tongue. Yeah, if anyone wants to watch Luke preset, hit me up. I got you.
Right, Mike, let's talk about your edit of
Yes.
my photo.
So
Let's go.
I
How
had
did
to-
you find it?
Well, I wish I'd asked more questions, to be honest. And I also, before going into this, I didn't look at the before image. I only looked at the after. So then when I had the raw up and I was like, right, okay. And I looked at the after image and I was like, right, this is cool. The oranges pop. And then went to the raw and I was like, oh, oranges. Where those oranges come from? And then all I remembered was that the kind of X outside was orange. So I was like, well, he must have brushed it, and then I brushed it, and I was like, well, he didn't do that, so I deleted it, and then I must have done it like 4 or 5 times, and I was like, well, he has to have oranges somewhere, so I just left it like that. So how many brushes did you use for that? Because I didn't ask, again, I didn't use my questions early on to ask anything, suggest like anything clever. I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be easy, yeah, sweet.
And it was, hang on, it was just one brush.
One brush.
All right, you ready? You ready if I turn
This is
the
what we're
brush?
seeing.
That's mad.
I don't know how it made it that orange, to be honest. I have no idea. So lastly, we're going to talk about my edit of Cyrus's photo. I'm going to put them up here.
Again, pretty close, very close.
So close.
My mistake was I didn't look at Cyrus's original image for long enough. Usually I knew Cyrus goes over to like the warmer side for his temperature, but for some reason in my head I thought he went a bit cooler this time. Just tried using a fog brush to add a bit of dimension to the sky and let the buildings fade out a bit. But I added it over the wrong building. If you look, my fog is on the left building rather than on the right.
That's something that's really hard to like get to look right as well, to add fake fog.
Added fake fog. I see.
Yeah.
I've never put so much clarity in an image with my
How much clarity did you put on mine?
I think I put 100 and then like 50 on the second one.
Clarity.
I added so much clarity. I'd say overall, we all did pretty solid.
I think so too. Right,
Absolutely.
cool. Solid,
Who's
right.
the winner?
Comment down below who you guys think the winner of this competition is. We'd like to know.
Who was the closest / who's the best?
Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. We really hope you enjoyed it.
We'd love to know who you thought got the closest to the real edits. I had so much fun editing in other people's styles.
Make sure to subscribe for more content like this from us and the other World Shooters teams in the future.
And we'll see you guys in the next video. Big up, peace.
Oh yeah, peace. Oh yeah.
Nice one, boy. That's
Cool.